Are we ready, gentlemen? So, order. Okay. It's 6:30. Would like to welcome everybody to the Murray City Planning Commission meeting of October 19th, 2023 at 6:30. I'm going to introduce our commissioners. To my left is Travis Ney, Ned Hacker, myself, I'm Lisa Mulkevich, the vice chair. Our chair, Jake Pearson, is absent tonight, so I will be the acting chair tonight. To my right is Mike Henry. And then on staff, we have Zach Smallwood, Susan Nixon, and Mark Richardson. All right. Little order for tonight. If you have a cell phone, we ask that you put it on silence or vibration so it doesn't interrupt the proceedings. If you are viewing remotely, welcome. We'd love for you to view via our live stream at murraycitylive.com or the Murray City Facebook page. You need to be aware that both those sites are for viewing only, so if you comment on either of those sites, it's not monitored by us or our staff, and we will not see your comments and therefore won't comment on them. They won't be added to the record. Other people watching might see them, but they won't be part of this proceeding. If you'd like to comment, you need to comment remotely via planningcommission@murray.utah.gov. If you're here in person and you would like to speak, we ask that you step up to the podium and be recognized. When you are, please state your name, your address, and limit your comments to about 3 minutes. Could you please speak into the mic also? You might not hear yourself, but it will record what you're saying, what your statements for the record. All right, so then on tonight's agenda, we have 5 items. The first 3 are business items. The first item is just approval of the minutes. Anyone?
Madam Chairman, I'll make motion that we approve the Planning Commission meeting minutes from September 7th, 2023 and September 21st, 2023 with minor corrections that we discussed during our pre-meeting.
Do we have a second?
Okay.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hacker for approval of the minutes from the September 7th and September 21st Planning Commission meeting, and a second by Commissioner Henry. Oops, sorry. Do we need a vote on motion, or do we just voice vote? Voice vote. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes. All right. Item number 2, conflict of interest. Does anyone have a conflict of interest?
No.
Okay. Me neither. All right. Item number 3, finding of facts. We don't have any finding facts tonight, so we'll move on to item number 4. Item number 4 is the Fairborn Townhomes, and Zach Smallwood from the staff will be presenting.
Yeah, thank you.
Should I ask if the applicant's here tonight?
Yes, you should.
Okay. In a moment, we'll ask you to step up to the podium. Okay. All right, sorry. Now staff.
Okay, thank you so much, Vice Chair Milkevich. I'm stalling. There we go. All right. So this is a request from Destiny Cow and Trong Properties for a conditional use for a 5-unit multifamily building located at 4429 South Fairborn Avenue. That's located just north of 4500 South and just east of State Street. So State Street's over here. I believe this is a Paradise Buffet, I think, right here, just right, yeah, right there on 45th and State. So just behind that. It is in the RM20 zone, which allows for 17 units per acre as a base density. Based on their 0.27 acres, that does allow for up to 5 units, and they are proposing those 5 units. Let's see. So this is kind of a zoomed in version of the existing site plan. There's an existing single family home here with a detached garage here. They are planning to demo that and build 5 new townhomes. With that, So requirements in the RM20 zone is a front yard of 25 feet, and they've proposed 25 feet. Rear yard is 25, and they've proposed 25 feet. And interior side yard is 8 feet, and they have 8 feet on one side. The other side has, I think it has to be 12. And it's not a corner, so it doesn't apply. Height up to 40 feet, and they are proposing 30 feet, 9.5 inches. So it would meet the standard there. Here's a picture, an elevation of what the proposed units are going to look like. Some elevations of the same, and I've added something new, so you can actually see where these elevations are pointing as they are to the site plan. So just some elevations there. There aren't any specific architectural requirements here. Just showing the floor plans. This was not in the staff report, but as I was doing this today, and if they, I don't think it needs to be a condition per se, but I think it might be nice if, especially on this unit here, where it faces Fairborn Avenue, if maybe that door shifts to face Fairborn Avenue. So that front door just shifts over to the other side. Might give it a more curb appeal approach on that. That's just something to consider for the applicant. Here's the second floor with the living and dining area with a bedroom. And then third floor with 2 more bedrooms and 2 more bathrooms. So we are recommending approval for the 5-unit townhome building, subject to the 6 conditions that are outlined in the staff report. Any questions I can answer right at this moment?
Any questions for staff and commission? No. Okay. All right, would the applicant like to step up to the podium and let us know, have you been able to read the conditions? Well, first, please state your name and address.
I'm Russell Platt. I'm the architect on the project, and I'm at 438 North, 300 West in Salt Lake City. And I like what's been said about having the front door on the street, so we'd be happy to do that shift. And we have no problem with any of the conditions being asked to do the project.
Okay, great. So you can comply with the conditions?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have anything you'd like to add to the presentation?
Just that we're excited to come in and bring 5 new homes to the neighborhood. So
Can you tell me the square footage of an individual unit?
they're 1,550 square feet.
Okay.
3 bedroom, 3 bath has been stated.
Thank you.
So that's divided between 2 or 3 layers, correct?
Yeah, 3 floors,
So 7 something each floor.
right.
Are there other questions? I think I had a concern that's been addressed, but it's fair to state it to you.
Okay.
It seemed 3 stories at 30 feet seemed challenging to me. And so I just want to make sure that it's doable and you're going to stay within that height range.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Any open to the public? So, okay, thank you for your time. I'd like to open discussion for the public. If anyone has anything they'd like to ask or state, please step up to the podium, state your name and address. Just to be fair, what the process is going to be, anyone in the public that wants to state a comment will be welcome to state their comment. Try to keep it under 3 minutes. After your comment's stated, we'll close the public comment, and then as a commission, we'll discuss and try to answer the questions that were brought up. So.
My name is Sonia Jensen, and I live at 4435 South Fairborn Avenue, so just not very far away from there. My comments have kind of changed since I met the architect and found out they're going to be townhomes and not apartments. I was very concerned about apartments because of the people that move in. If you know where I live, there's apartments across the street from my house that are a, lack of a better word, hot mess. And my comments were going to be, if you're looking for revenue, we should fine the landlords every time the police, the fire, and the ambulance have to respond, that would be a lot of money across the street from my house. Renters usually are not invested in Murray because they come to Murray to rent and then they leave. But since they're building townhomes and they're going to be invested in Murray. For future, if I can say for future, we really should attract more businesses because every time I want to go to a movie, to a show, to a musical, to a festival, any kind of concert, I have to leave Murray, spend my money there, have dinner, spend my money there. We need to be doing that here in Murray. We need to be attracting those people to come to Murray. So, but I'm very glad they're going to be townhomes and not apartments. So,
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Anyone else like to make a comment? Do we have any comments virtually?
I didn't, but let me just double check. No, I don't have any.
Sufficient time's been given? Okay. All right, and we'll go ahead and close the public comment period and bring it back up here for discussion. Does anybody on the commission have any questions? Discussion?
I'd just like to make a comment that I think this is a really good project. I think it should do really well for the neighborhood. So, thank you.
I wanted to make sure it clarified, as I read this application, it is for rental units, even though they're townhomes, correct?
I appreciate the clarification. So,
They will be platted individually, so they could be sold individually. But depending on what the buyer chooses to do with it is up to the buyer that buys it.
so the buyer could live in the unit or rent the unit out.
That's their prerogative.
Yeah, so that was the understanding during this time. If they do decide that they want these to be for sale, they'll have to come back with a subdivision application. So this is just approval of the conditional use permit. I was under the assumption that these were for rent as well, so.
Will you say that one more time? If they want them to be for sale, they need to come back.
They will have to come back with a subdivision plat and a subdivision review.
Okay. So, do I need to add that? If that's the- Yeah.
That's entirely up to you. You can do that if you'd like. Yeah,
It doesn't change the outcome.
it doesn't really change the outcome. I mean, so if they were going to come forward with a condition, like a subdivision application for it, they would have to come back with the conditional use permit anyway, so.
Okay.
And again, we can't dictate whether they're for sale or for rent, so that's entirely up to them.
That's always an awkward spot for me. I understand. I want to make sure the public understands. But, okay, so I guess we've discussed it. Okay. Do I hear anyone want to make a motion or further discussion?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that the Planning Commission approve the conditional use permit to allow proposed Fairborn townhomes located at 4429 South Fairborn Avenue, subject to the following 6 conditions.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Nay and a second by Mr. Hacker for the approval of the conditional use permit to allow the proposed Fairborn townhomes located at 4429 South Fairborn Avenue, subject to the 6 conditions as listed. Can we call a vote?
Yep, Commissioner Nay,
Yes.
Commissioner Hacker,
Yes?
Commissioner Henry,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Milkovich.
Yes, the motion passes. Thanks for contributing to our community in a positive manner. Let's move on to the next item. If I can find my piece of paper. There it is. Okay, item number 5, announcements and questions about our EPA assessment grant. From the staff, Mrs. Nixon.
Thank you. So Yes, Murray City is planning to submit an application to EPA for a brownfield assessment grant up to the amount of $500,000. And as part of our application, we need to have an official announcement in a public meeting. So that is the reason we are here tonight, is to let you know we intend to apply for that assessment grant. The area that we are applying for is highlighted in the red. Basically, it starts at 4800 South and I-15 freeway and goes up to State Street and then south to 53rd up to where it intersects on, south to Vine Street and then east to 5300 South and then west over to I-15 again and back up to 48. So that encompasses about 520 acres. It is a big area, but as you're all aware, this area is, well, Murray has a lot of contaminated properties and specifically in this area. So that's the reason we are partially doing this area. Plus also, we want to kind of piggyback along with the creek and the trails along the creek that come from the park into and extend to the west, all the way to the freeway. So, and also because the demographics in the areas. So that is the area we've selected, and we need to submit our application by November 13th. We will not find out till spring if we are awarded the grant, but if we are, then you will hear more. And hopefully there will be public input at that point and a lot of public input and meetings on that if we are awarded the grant. So that's really the announcement. I'm happy to answer any questions if I can.
Do we have any questions from the commission?
I do have a question. It looks like we got a lot of the same kind of problems south of 5300 South. Is there a limit like on the amount of area that you can include, or?
There is not there's not a maximum area that I'm aware of anyway. We just kind of went along with 53rd because it's just a general cutoff, good area to just cut off. There are definitely some contaminated properties south of 53rd. We know that. There's the ore mill site there off of 53rd and 3rd West.
What's
And
happening with that?
not much. They just did complete their VCP program, voluntary cleanup program. They just got a clearance from DEQ. I do know that. And then
So it still is chugging along.
it's still chugging along, but it is slow. Yes.
slow.
Yep.
I think I can.
That's
I
the
think I
latest
can,
that
I
I've
think
heard
I
on it.
can.
So anyway, so it was just kind of a logical area for us to cut it off at. To answer your question anyway, for 53rd South.
Does that mean that in future grants might cover areas further south below 53rd?
Sure, if there are available funds for that, sure, but we'll definitely apply for all kinds of grants for sure when it comes to any kind of contaminated or brownfield sites, because we do have our fair share, as you're aware. So, and a lot of people have there's a stigma associated with that. They're afraid as soon as they hear like, oh, you want to assess my property, they instantly don't want to be involved just because they're afraid that they'll be held by some kind of restrictions or we're going to impose certain conditions, et cetera. But actually, it's just the opposite. It's a catalyst to help people identify their property, know what's there without any kind of imposing any conditions. And eventually, if they're going to sell it, specifically commercial, industrial properties, they're going to have to do environmental studies on it anyway. So it's kind of good for them to kind of know ahead of time. And if they're willing to do it and let someone else pay for that, I guess to me that's kind of a no-brainer why they wouldn't want to do that. But anyway, so this will definitely get out the word about brownfields and the assessments and funds that are available, and hopefully kind of diminish a little bit of that stigma that's associated with it.
So you would expect to get the full $500,000, or is that the max, or?
That's the maximum, and yes, we are hoping to get the full amount. Now, whether or not we spend it all, I guess, as we go along in the process, if it turns out we don't need that much and it's only $400,000, then that's all that we would spend, but that would be the maximum, yes.
Well, I guess that's kind of where I was going. Could you amend property further south to that assessment area, or would you not want to do that?
This is just the area we've selected for now, but I guess we could take it back. If you're recommending that, I could take it back to our committee. That's kind of the area we designated.
I guess along those lines of thought, I'm assuming, is it accurate to assume that the size of the area is an area, and the need in that area is what you expect to spend 500,000 on?
You know, it's funny, we had a Zoom meeting with DEQ a week or two ago. And to be honest, I've never seen the representative from DEQ get excited about anything. And actually grinning from ear to ear. And he was with this one. He was just like, this is so exciting. So,
Can we put in more than one application?
not
If
for
we had
this,
if we had a different identified zone, could we put in an additional application?
no, I think we're restricted to one for Murray City, the city of Murray, basically.
I mean, because basically, right now, with the 500 and something acres, this is less than $1,000 an acre that we have in funding for. So I'd be cautious to expand the size
To
of it.
expand it, yeah, even more. And actually, so when we did run this past DEQ and a couple of the other consultants and our outreach contacts, they all kind of thought this was a good area. I was actually, like I said, I was surprised that DEQ was so excited about specifically this area that we,
Yeah, they actually recommended expanding it to I-15, correct?
they
were-
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where originally we were only going to Third West, and so they actually said to go all the way to 15, so we're kind of just going off what, because we do need their support in it, you know, and they're a heavy weight when it comes to getting approval or not, to get their blessing, so to speak.
Who is?
DEQ, Department of Environmental Quality.
One of the things I always think about, I believe a lot of the information already exists in a good share of this area that you just have to
Assimilate.
aggregate rather than having to go out and actually perform the assessment again, right?
There has been other,
Or for a big
Grants.
chunk of this area, I'm sure.
yeah,
there's some that
there have been like little small areas of this that we've done assessments of grants on, but this is kind of more all-inclusive, I guess. And this is more of an assessment one rather than, sometimes the grants are just to do an environmental, like a phase 1, phase 2, where this is an assessment to say, okay, here's the existing conditions, here's what we could recommend, given those, and based on our, you know, future land use and general plan, and a lot of other factors coming into play.
So what is the process for the landowners in this area to apply to use the money? Is there, and how are priorities set?
They wouldn't themselves, it would be administered through the city, and our consultant that would be selected. But the individuals wouldn't be spending the money themselves, it would be the city. Now, we would definitely want their input, and, you know, we will have a lot of outreach that we'll have to do, so we will want their input. But as far as administering and spending the funds, it's totally up to the committee that's comprised of myself and then one of the city engineers, and then, of course, our finance director, and then a representative from two representatives from the consultants, and then also the EPA representatives and DEQ representatives. There's a lot of people who are actually going to be part of this, plus we will also have some outreach members that will be part of it.
So then in that process, that committee develops guidelines
Yes.
as to who would have priority?
Yes, yes, we do have a couple of priority sites tentatively selected right now, but we will see, as we're still fine tuning our application as far as that goes.
I guess my reasoning for asking that was, one, for fairness within the community, and then two, I would maybe assume if federal funds were given to a city, you would use those in public areas prior to private areas, I would assume.
Well, again, it's the assessment, and no, there's a lot of private properties here. It doesn't mean we're gonna act on their property, meaning we can't go in and do any kind of demos or whatever, this or that, but it definitely involves private property, but we're not going to be, this is just an assessment, so we're not going to be implementing or demoing or constructing anything, if that makes sense.
You gentlemen, any other thoughts?
All good questions, thank you, yeah, appreciate that. And if any of you would like to be on that committee, we would happy to entertain a couple of you if you'd like.
Ned Hacker.
anyway, but that, I'm happy to answer any of the questions. Otherwise, that's basically the proposal or the official announcement for the application.
I feel like we should pop a little confetti thing.
Well, come November 3rd, well, actually, like I said, we won't know till spring, but, fingers crossed, we're hoping, yeah, that'd be awesome, so.
Sounds good. Anything else? We're through the agenda. Is there any other items that we need to discuss before adjourning?
We will so the next meeting is November 2nd. We have 3 items on the agenda, and it sounds like we will barely have a quorum, so yes, we are planning to have the meeting with the 3 items, yes.
Let us know as soon as possible if you.
Is it a
can.
humdinger,
What?
the meeting?
What about
No, 2 text amendments and then just 1 small CUP.
Travis is trying to decide if he's going to be present or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will not be present, actually. I will be on vacation.
That week,
so.
yes. It'll be me and 4 of you who will be there, yeah.
45% of us will be gone. I feel like I'm missing something. I'll be here.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, I guess then we are officially adjourned.
You need a motion.
Oh, wait, can I have a motion to adjourn? Anyone? Anyone?
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
In a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Henry and a second by Mr. Hacker to adjourn the meeting at 6:56. Right.